Sorry, friends, it was a little phone call in between. So, let me carry on. So, the inner animal memory, energy, it's full of energy and it is automation, it's timeless and it is everywhere. So, when we say it's everywhere, another way is to say this everywhere is also nowhere. So, nowhere and everywhere is just one. So if I say nowhere, it just means everywhere. So if I say everywhere, it just means nowhere. So the inner animal consists of many dimensions of energy which we have as a human being. And all over time goes into this kind of lifestyle. And I love it. But the thing is, that our whole global education system is not yet able to find out or has not uncovered or discovered this system. So the name of the angles, these are all human angles, which I love to talk about it, and I never ever get tired about talking about it. And perhaps I know this for granted that every human being is into it. If I know myself totally, I know everybody of you totally. It's very simple logic. I'm not imposing anything on anybody, but this is a very simple truth. Now, the name of the energies is sex, ego, greed, attachment, restlessness, anger, fear, boredom, ignorance, jealousy, guilt consciousness, contracted heart or expanded heart, boredom, strangeness, and we can divide this energy into illusion, disillusionment, unconsciousness, consciousness, forgetfulness, and memory. When the memory comes back, remembrance. So, let's talk about the primal things here. So the ego, I love to talk about this thing called ego. And when I see thousands and thousands of saints and who have actually, they talk like godheads, priests or pundits or whatever you can call them, I mean. They are talking about spirituality and they are talking a lot about witnessing, things like this. They talk about meditation. They talk about no mind. But one thing I am very much surprised is that they all talk as a life negative agent. They talk about ego as if it is something negative. They talk about sex as if it is something negative. They talk about greed, attachment, anger, depression, jealousies, as if it is something negative. My dear friends, my dear lovers of this earth, my dear lovers of life, they talk about God to be worshipped, but they never talk about human beings, every human being to be worshipped, animals to be worshipped, insects to be worshipped. They always talk about the upper centers of our body. They never talk about the centers coming below our neck. They don't even talk properly about the heart. Forget about the Manipura and forget about the Swadhisthana and forget about the lower centers. They don't talk about it. Sex is such a beautiful thing. Tell me one person who says sex is not beautiful. One person. Yes, jealousy with it, it also contains a little bit of beauty. It is also necessary. But jealousy could be of many types. Sex could be of many types. Ego is of many, many types. Greed is of many types. Anger, restlessness, boredom, all have got many, many kinds of dimensions. Each dimension is necessary. So, my friends, what I've done is I have created an education system. And the name of the education system, I always talk about it, and I would talk about it 1,000 times more because it needs to be penetrated first with analysis, with our intellectual power, using our intelligence. Now, the name of the education system which I've kept is Premzosh, ahembramashmi, immortality criterion, quantum global insaniyat yoga system. You see, insaniyat word is a Hindi word, but I've used it determinedly in India and for the Middle East countries. Why? Because yoga has got nothing to do with caste system. Ahembramashmi has got nothing to do with caste system. Or it has got nothing to do with any religion. Or it's nothing to do with blind bhakti yoga. Let me tell you this, that in my education system I have made 20 dimensions. And each of the energies, let us say sex is divided into 20 dimensions. Anger is of 20 dimensions. Ego is of 20. Why I have done this? Just to have more clear picture of these energies. It is very necessary. Because a child of 1 year old and 2 years old is also into sex. But his sex is to be interpreted as a different dimension, naturally enough, and it is autoerotic. It is orgasmic. It has got nothing to do with genitals as such. The child's whole body is orgasmic. If you feel the child, if you see his eyes, when he's playing with his own thumb, or when he's playing with his own body, so he's into a kind of phenomenal existential orgasm. Because he doesn't have the mind yet. He doesn't have any kind of split in the mind. He is one whole. He's one whole, and so the whole body is orgasmic. He's not divided into mind, heart, brain. He's not divided. He's just one whole. And if you see the energy, the way the child smiles, the way the child cries, and the way the child moves his body, it's one whole. And also it is a lot anti-gravity. If you see the child running on the earth, you would feel that he's got a certain anti-gravity in the body. It is anti-gravitational. It is levitation. He's already levitating. He doesn't know anything about it. And when he falls down once or twice while playing. He falls down sometimes very, very seriously, but he doesn't feel much hurt. The bones are very soft, but he gets quickly fine. And you can well see that if the same kind of fall, a 20 years old boy or a 60 years old man falls down, he would be in serious trouble. But the child who's 1 year old and 3 years old and 5 years old, he crashes down on the earth many times, and you still know that by your own memories of your childhood. Reason being, he is one with around the energy. He's one with existence. He is not yet discriminated. He doesn't feel that separation, the cellular separation is not there in the body. Else, he is being taught by the education system the separation, that he is separated from the existence. He's separated from rest of the people. He's separated from rest of the families. He's separated from rest of the religions. He is being continuously being taught separation in thousands and thousands of ways. He's a man. He's a woman. Somebody is a woman. The age factor. Then the class, rich class, poor class. And then it goes on and on. The separation. The patriotic ideas. All of it gets together in the brain, gets together in the mind. Sex, good or bad, guilt or no guilt. Is it religious or non-religious? Ego is religious or not religious? Anger is religious or not religious? Which kind of anger is good and which kind of anger is bad? Weakness, strength. Which profession is superior? Which profession is inferior? No, they are all discrimination. They are all pseudo. They are all animalistic differentiations, which actually the man is split inside into millions of parts through the mind, and so is the body. And the body becomes heavy with this pseudo experience, and day by day the body becomes so heavy that he no more feels the anti-gravity. He no more feels the levitation. He no more feels one with existence. Each man starts living a life of an island. And then we start having our streams of friendship. One narrow stream of friendship, another narrow stream of friendship. There are different streams, millions and trillions and billions of streams. And those streams, they move parallelly and they are well assured. They live in the world of separation. So now let's go back to spirituality. Then what is spirituality? Spirituality is oneness. It's natural, but I don't say the one who has left the house with the one who has left the home has to come back to the home. All these separations, frankly to be said, were also necessary at a point. But what my point is, there is no parallel education system which is teaching every human being oneness, going back to the home. All education systems teach us how to go outside our home, outside our brain system, outside our body. But it never teaches us how to come back to the body. Apart from that, there is a pseudo spirituality going around the world which is teaching everybody life negativity, body negativity, then how you're going to come back to your body back? If body is negative, then where you are going to come back? When you say God is inside, witnessing is inside, the bliss is inside, everything is inside, but where is the body? Body is negative. No. All these spiritual people are talking about witnessing and the third eye and this and that, but they never talk positively about the sex part, about the anger part, about the greed part, about the attachment part. They are all necessary energies. They are all beautiful energies. We only have to bring them together. We only have to see the system outside, which has been put inside each individual, the pseudo system. Now, the time is here where all this pseudo system has to be transformed into a human system. Now, what is this pseudo system and what is this human system? What is this pseudo system of lifestyle which has been taught to every child in the schools, to grown-up human beings, in the factories, in the industry, in the colleges, and wherever you go? The pseudo system is always there. So what is this human system? What we see outside is the manifestation of our inside. We have inside our mind, we have expanded inside our mind the outside. And what we see outside is our reflection. So, nobody is to blame, but we need to expose the darkness. It is everywhere. The indifference, the coldness, the pseudo-ego. The pseudo-ego has to be made a human ego. And the human ego has to be further encouraged to be made as spiritual ego. And when the spiritual ego we come into, we have realized the spiritual ego, then there is a kind of maturity where the witnessing is automatically been discovered. Witnessing is the purified form of pseudo-ego. And what is this pseudo-ego? The pseudo-ego is only pseudo if we become conscious about it. And if we are not conscious about it, then it is simply a lifestyle of vegetation. We vegetate. The women are more vegetating than the men. Especially the countries like India and Pakistan and the Middle East countries. This part, the women here are more into vegetating. They don't have an ego yet. They have an ego, but the ego is yet pseudo and they are not conscious about it. So the pseudo-ego, once we become conscious, in Hindi we call it Chetana, Achetan or Chetana. So once we become conscious about it, then the next step is from pseudo to a human ego. So for example, sex is very beautiful, but it's pseudo. It's only vegetating, it's only repetition. But there's no human ego to it. Only if it becomes a practice, only if it becomes an experimentation. The greed, the anger, the ego, we all have to make this a conscious experiment. Only then it becomes human. So I would like to talk about sex a lot. Sex. I smile when I say sex. Why? Because it is beautiful, you see. Okay, anger. I love anger. I love anger. Greed. Greed is beautiful. How can I live without greed? Fear. My God. Fear is pure sensitivity. Fear is my ultimate best friend. Fear is not my enemy. Attachment. Very beautiful. Restlessness. Boredom. Shame. Jealousy. Everything is beautiful. Every emotion is beautiful. You see, restlessness, for example, if you get a proper connection with your restlessness. What is restlessness? Restlessness is you're fidgetive. You can't stop. You want to move here and there. You can't sit. As if there are ants in your pant. As if there are ants in your dresses. You're restless all the time. You're restless with your brain. You're restless with your body. You're restless with your mind. You want to go there. You want to go just for nothing. You just go. Come on, go. Restlessness is a bridging for more inventions. Restlessness is an excuse of transformation. It's naturally letting your body move. It's a very natural exercise. You don't need to suppress your restlessness. You have to be restless. Forget about, now this is the pseudo. The pseudo education system teaches you not to be restless. And the human education system, which is my system, which does not go against your restlessness, which does not go against your inner animal. Restlessness becomes rest. Sex becomes love. Love becomes pranic love. Pranic love becomes divine love. Divine love could go into meditation. So we will talk more about this discrimination between pseudo and human lifestyle, education system. Self-immortality criterion, quantum global education system. There's difference between yoga, spirituality and religion. Enlightenment, self-illumination. The awakening of the Kundalini. The experiment of death. The conscious experiment of death. The conscious experiment of breathing system. The conscious experiment of sex, tantra. The conscious experiment of bhakti yoga. So I have created 20 yogas, in which some of them are old and some of them are new. It becomes a kind of whole human angle. The 20 angles, and these 20 angles, I have represented them as 20 yogas. All of them are therapeutic. So, we are not in a hurry, and to some extent, impatience is also nice. So, see you, friends, people of the world. I'm trying to contact you all people through this device, mobile and electronic, magnetic, and thank you to the science and thank you to the religion. And religion should be ahead of science. Science should be led by religion, and religion goes ahead. Why? Because immortality can only be experienced through religion and not science. Science can at the most make you aware of your long age. You could live up to 500 years, but death is death. Remember that. Death is the door to bliss. Death is the door to immortality. It is a door. And in that door, all our energies of anger, ego, sex, attachment, greed, all our animal energies come together as one whole. So thank you to everybody and see you back again. Namaste.